Hello, I'm James Ezimoha. Welcome to Africa News. Let's see your headlines. Experts say the Sudan war is crippling economic activities in the region. Nigeria's president says the country is committed to defeating terrorism. And Windhoek Fashion Week marks 10th anniversary with cultural display. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu says his government remains committed to defeating terrorism through diplomatic engagement. His assurance follows a warning from U.S. President Donald Trump, who threatened military action over alleged religious persecution on his Truth Social platform. Speaking at a meeting in Abuja on Thursday, Tinubu said Nigeria is engaging the international community to strengthen cooperation against terrorism and protect national sovereignty.
The task ahead is immense. We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will, defeat terrorism in this country.
Still in Nigeria, a female-led mobility startup, Her Ride, set out to make transportation safer for women, offering a ride-hailing service built on trust and security. However, founders say the company's progress has stagnated due to limited access to investment.
In Abuja, social media manager Longdi Nachin thought she was boarding a regular taxi home. Instead, she fell victim of what locals call one chance. A group of robbers and kidnappers disguised as public transport operators.
The guy overpowered me and he started beating me. The other one in front was now saying that they should pull my trouser because they wanted to rape me as well. He now said that the only thing they can do for me now is that I'm going to call someone to give them 5 million. And I told them I had no one. I've suffered trauma that I don't go out. It's made me felt like if I go out, something bad is going to happen. I'm going to enter the wrong vehicle. And ever since then, every vehicle I enter is a suspect.
Stories like Longdi's inspired Monsura Oluwafuyi and her co-founders to create Her Ride, a ride-hailing platform exclusively for women. The app connected verified female drivers to female passengers, offering what many called a safe space on wheels.
The gap was so wide that we thought, let's set up Her Ride for 2 key things. One, provide safer alternatives for women in the mobility sector. And then secondly was to create economic opportunities for women to earn as drivers.
Launched in 2022, Her Ride quickly onboarded over 200 drivers and completed more than 2,000 trips in Abuja, giving several women like Grace Ashilo financial independence and stability.
Before I started driving, I was actually squatting. I was squatting as at that time. But immediately when I started driving, I got my own apartment. I started paying my rent.
But within a year, Her Ride paused operations, citing financial strain and operational challenges. Experts say targeted policies, mentorship and inclusive financing are needed to change the trend.
There are basically 2 things that I would advise government to do to close the gap. One of them is capacity building. They need to build capacity of women. And then secondly, government can also come up with a program, a women program, to actually offer to give women some special funding for startups.
Studies suggest that closing Nigeria's gender gap in funding could add over $220 billion to the economy by 2030. While Her Ride may have paused its journey, its mission continues to highlight both the potential and the challenges of women entrepreneurs across Africa.
After more than 2 years of conflict, the war in Sudan is leaving a devastating economic scar, not only within its borders, but across the wider region. Experts say the fallout is rippling beyond Sudan, disrupting cross-border trade and supply chains that once powered regional economies from the Horn of Africa to the Sahel.
After 2.5 years of war, Sudan's economy has been left dismantled. Darfur and Kordofan, Sudan's export engines for oil, gum arabic, sesame, gold and livestock, now lie in ruins. The two regions have been major front lines in the fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. For Sudan's neighbors, the conflict translates to a bigger economic toll in the region.
All the countries surrounding Sudan are now negatively impacted by this war, both economically and socially, as these countries have become home to Sudanese refugees. The war that has been raging in Sudan for more than 2.5 years and has entered its third year will continue to spread to all neighboring African countries if it does not stop.
Experts say Sudan's own exports have been impounded, trapped in war zones, looted or left to rot. What was a $4 billion in annual trade with neighbors is now evaporated as production halted and corridors closed.
Sudanese exports are suffering from several issues, including a decrease in the quantity of exported goods themselves, which is no longer what it once was due to the political and security instability in the country. Most goods were looted and stolen, and most of our warehouses as exporters were destroyed during the war. This is one of the problems exporters face.
The World Bank estimates Sudan's GDP shrunk by 29% in 2023 and another 14% last year. Inflation surged to 170% in 2024. The bank says it is one of the steepest economic contractions in recent history. With now no end in sight to the conflict, experts warn the economic crisis in Sudan and the region will only deepen.
In Mali, uncertainty is deepening in the mining sector after the government cancelled more than 90 exploration permits. Authorities say the move enforces compliance with new mining laws, but investors fear the decision could shake confidence in one of Africa's leading gold producers.
In Mali, Africa's third largest gold producer, a sweeping government decree has stunned the mining industry. Over 90 exploration permits have been revoked. Among them, licenses held by Harmony Gold, IAM Gold, Cora Gold, Birimian Gold, and Resolute Mining. Authorities insist the move is purely administrative. They say companies were asked to update their documentation on the new mining regulations introduced early this year, but many failed to do so.
Yes, it is Article 204 of the 2023 Mining Code that authorizes such suspension, but it also provides for the reallocation of permits. Certain conditions must be made. For example, if a company carries out no exploration activity for 6 months, its authorization may be withdrawn.
But the decree provides little detail. No explanation on whether the firms can appeal or reapply, and no mention of the total area affected or the value of the exploration's activities. Cora Gold told Reuters it had already relinquished the affected permits more than 2 years ago, and said the delayed cancellation had no impact on its operations. The other companies, Harmony Gold, IAM Gold, Birimian, and Resolute, did not immediately respond to requests for comments. The move comes as Mali tightens regulations across its mining sector, part of a regional trend toward greater state oversight.
Whether you are national or international partners, the main point is that any company wishing to operate in Mali must comply with Malian regulations. This decision has no negative impact. Foreign companies are not prohibited from mining in Mali. The only requirement is that they respect the laws and regulations in force.
Mali's mining sector is a lifeline for its economy, generating nearly 80% of export earnings. But growing insecurity, political uncertainty, and shifting regulations have already slowed new foreign investments. Analysts say while the latest move may strengthen Mali's sovereignty, it could also send a chill through the investment climate.
Namibia's Windhoek Fashion Week has marked its 10th anniversary with a powerful showcase honoring the Overhero heritage. The annual event is not just about style, it's about identity, creativity, and connecting local talent to Africa's wider fashion scene.
The 10th edition of MTC Windhoek Fashion Week opened with a tribute to the Overhero people of Namibia, blending traditional craftsmanship with modern design. The event aims to support Namibia's creative industries and open doors for designers to reach global audiences. Runway models say they wore designs inspired by heritage and personal stories.
What I'm wearing right now is this beautiful vintage Herero dress. What I love most about this dress is because it's actually the designer's mother's dress who passed away. So it's something very personal, something very meaningful, and I'm very honored to be wearing it. And on top of that, I'm a Herero, so I'm very proud, and I feel so good having to wear my tradition, my culture on the runway.
Although I found out that it's for funerals, I really felt celebrated. I felt like, in Oshero, I'm not one though, but there's this word I've heard, okashushu. So I actually felt like that.
For stylists and designers, the event is both a creative platform and a celebration of Namibia's growing fashion identity.
So this year, I'm so happy and so privileged that my tribe, the Overhero people, will be opening Windhoek Fashion Week as we're celebrating 10 years, of Windhoek Fashion Week of fashion. Thank you so much, Windhoek Fashion Week, for giving us all a platform, our stylists, designers, everyone. I really can't wait, to attend all the shows and really see what these designers are up to.
As Windhoek Fashion Week continues through the weekend, organisers say it's more than a runway. It's a stage for cultural pride, skill development, and a new era for Namibian fashion.
Well, that's all we have today in African News. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to A News.